Hey everybody, it's Brooke with The Buttered Home. Welcome to Messy Kitchen Monday. If this is your first time with us, we come together on Monday nights in my messy home kitchen to cook. We've been doing this since about 1st of July, 1st of August, I don't know, I have to go back through the videos and see. But we've enjoyed it, it's so much fun. So if you're new here, be sure to tune in on Monday evenings about 7:30 Central Time for Messy Kitchen Monday. We are glad to have you, and we are celebrating Southern classic recipes for the month of March. Last week, if you didn't miss it, or if you missed it, last week we did deviled eggs. So if you have a chance, go back and watch that one. It's got a lot of really good information, and later last week I actually shared the recipe. We'll do the same with this tonight, and tonight we are going to continue with the month of Southern Classic Recipes with a hotly debated item. So don't think that this is the absolute way to fix it, because it's not. But this is the recipe that I've had my whole life to make macaroni and cheese. I know there's all kind of camps on macaroni and cheese. A lot of people like it creamy and soft and all this, and a lot of people like it straight out of the box, and there's nothing wrong with that. But this is the recipe that I had in a cookbook. Well, it's based on a recipe that I had in a cookbook. Oh, and if you're new, you'll hear a lot of that kind of mess too. We have a dog circus at the Buttered Home. So anyway, this is loosely based on a recipe that I got in a cookbook long years ago whenever we got married. So without further ado, we are going to put together our macaroni and cheese. So I am just going to put my eyes on so I can see. Hey, Miss Nell, how are you? Glad you're joining us. She's one of my faithfuls. Glad to have you here. If you are joining us tonight, be sure and drop a comment or give us a wave in the comments. We love talking to you guys. We'll try during if we can. If not, I'll get back with you and answer you in the thread tonight. So let's continue on with Southern Classic Macaroni and Cheese. So, all right, so I'm just gonna move my camera, get it focused, and this is how I roll, guys. I already have made half the recipe, so this is the other half of the recipe. So I won't be giving you any amounts, I'll just be showing you how we put it together. The recipe will come out later this week on the blog at thebutteredhome.com. So you're gonna start with a box of macaroni, if you like traditional pasta, macaroni pasta. Or what I have are these little radiatori. I use these for my chicken casserole too, because, and the reason why, if you look, it's got all these little rounded curves and curls, and whatever sauce that you're putting in here, it gets all trapped in there, and it holds like all your flavors in there all at once together. So we have that. And then to our hot pasta, we're going to add a little butter. And we're going to just mix that in and let it melt. And macaroni and cheese is a lot like a cobbler. You don't do a lot of mixing because you kind of want it to be as is. But the butter you want to get in there so that it can coat all the macaroni and kind of keep it separate so that the other flavors of everything else we're going to put in it will adhere to the butter on the pasta. All right, so that looks good. Let me know if you're having trouble seeing anything or if you have any questions as we go. Now, the next thing I like to do is to add some cheese. And now this recipe, I usually use about half of what it calls for in cheese inside of it, and then the other half will be used to top it. Now, my husband would rather I did half plus more on the top and half plus more in the middle too. He likes cheese. So we just kind of want to distribute that in there and get it good and mixed in that way that I have everything, every bite with some cheese in it. All right, and I've spilled some, so let me kind of clean up my mess over here and get it out of the way. And then the recipe calls for eggs, and it also calls for milk. Now, eggs are gonna be like something that you don't really mix in a lot. So when I add the egg in, I like to put just a smidge of my milk in there with it, just because it helps kind of thin it so that you can get it over the whole pan of macaroni and cheese. So I added just a splash of the milk that my recipe called for into my egg. And then I'm going to take the rest of the milk and drizzle it in and get it evenly distributed. And then I'm going to just stir it just a little bit, just to kind of make sure my milk is all over the bottom. And these little radiatories keep jumping out on me. There's still plenty in there though. All right. And so now I'm going to take that beaten egg and the milk, and I'm just going to drizzle that over the top as evenly as I can. And now here is the trick and the step to the egg. You don't really want to mix it in. What I do is I kind of just take my spoon and just tap it, because you want it to go all the way through, because it's gonna create, it and the milk are gonna create this nice binder for the cheese and the pasta. All right. And then I'm gonna take the other half of the cheese and put it on the top. And this is gonna go into a 350-degree oven for about 20 to 25 minutes until the pasta is set and the cheese is melted and bubbly and just a little brown. You'll know it when you see it. And there you have it. Now, I'm sorry, but that was easier to put together than a box mix, wasn't it? All right, so I'm gonna put this in the oven in a little bit, but in the meantime, oh, and I forgot to add salt and pepper. But you know what? It's fine, because my pasta was cooked in salted water, so it's fine. But if you wanted to, you can add a little salt and pepper for flavor in there, but it's not necessary. I did, however, add some to this batch, and you'll see the little flecks of pepper in there. This is the finished version of the macaroni and cheese, and you'll see that the top of the cheese is browned, and I'm about to scoop some out so you can see what it looks like. All right, we're gonna get that out, and you'll see that it makes, let me just adjust my camera. It has this nice layering in here where you've got the egg and the milk have kind of bound together and hung on to that pasta. And y'all, it's beautiful. It's just beautiful, and it's cheesy, and it's fantastic. And if I can keep it on my spoon, it's wonderful, it's great. So Tanner's sitting here with her hand out, so I'm gonna pass it off. But you know, you just can't get any easier than that. Now, the pasta cook time is about 5 minutes. You don't want to cook it completely, because you don't want it to fall apart whenever you put it in the oven. So I always say, you know, you want to cook that pasta just till it's al dente. It doesn't have any crunch left, but it does have a little bounce when you bite it. Because it's going to cook for 20 to 25 minutes in the oven, it really doesn't need a whole lot, you know, more. So I hope this, like so many other things that you'll see, is really easier than what's considered a shortcut way. In my opinion, the longest part of the whole deal is cooking the pasta and waiting on it to get done. But if you're cooking this along with other things, it's a very good side to have, and it doesn't take that much more time. You can also make this better for you by using whole wheat pasta and cutting your butter back a little bit and using skim milk and fat-free cheese. So while you think you can't have this, it might be too decadent, there is other ways to fix it where you can kind of cut down on the fat content, but you'd be surprised. This is not really that bad. I can't remember the calorie count and the fat count on it just right off the top of my head, but it's really not that bad. And like so many other things, if you limit your portion size, then you know, you don't have to do without. You can have a little and be happy. So that's all I have for you tonight. Real excited about next week. Next week we're doing a main course, and I give you 3 guesses as to what it might be. But it's gonna be good, it's gonna be easy, and it's gonna show you that something that looks hard and difficult like this is really not. So come back next Monday night at 7:30 Central Time, and we will share another wonderful Southern classic with you. Y'all have a great week, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.